Hey, this is Philmon Lee, and I'm hanging out with Rob from Front Row Live.
One thing that kind of caught my attention is the way that you emote your rawness within every tracks, but specifically this your new single. I feel like you hear the emotions coming out of your voice. So I'm curious, like when it comes to the recording process of Where Was Your Love, did you try and commit to that first initial tracking of the vocals just because you want to keep that emotion as real and raw as possible?
For sure, man. Very emotional, very powerful record. So, when it came down to making the song, I just wanted to put all I could into the record, so everybody felt it. Especially the first time when we were writing it, man. Just hearing how it all came together. All I needed to do, when we all wrote it, when we got together, this was actually written in Nashville, and it was written with Big Loud. And after we wrote it and the melody started coming together, I think it might have been the fastest song I ever recorded, just because it felt so right.
The fact that it's like it's such an emotional kind of song, like how does vulnerability, like what kind of role does vulnerability play in your songwriting? Is that something that you from the beginning you've been comfortable with, or is that something that you kind of had to learn to be comfortable with?
That's a good question. I think vulnerability. Uh, if you're not vulnerable, you're fake. I don't think though. I feel like it's more. It's more. How do I want to say this? It's better to be vulnerable with your fans. You know what I'm saying? Because when I make music, I want people to understand it. And if I'm vulnerable, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot better for the listener, and they can relate a lot more. I think the music has more of a meaning when you make it like that. When you make music,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. And the fact that, a lot of your music is somewhat vulnerable in that sense, how do you how are you able to kind of grab the audience attention? Like, because for me, it was your vocals, but what do you think it is that grabs the audience attention? Do you think it's just your vocals? Do you think it's the way that you write? Do you think it's the cadence that you have within your music?
That's actually, you hit me with a good question, man. I don't know, man. When it comes, I don't know. I don't want to sit here. I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm being like boastful, and I don't want to sound like I'm trying to be overly humble or nothing like, you know what I'm saying. But I do think a lot of it has to do with my voice, the rawness, I guess, or the soul, and always the writing, man. The writing lyrically, we try to do our best. You know what I'm saying. When we write a song, or I write a song, best lyrically. You know what I'm saying. But I think I don't know, man. Just the feeling and the groove, and like you know what I'm saying, in my voice, the rawness, the soul. I think that's what grabs a lot of attention.
Talk to me a little bit more about your cadence, though. Like, how did you discover your sound, who you are as an artist, your style, the way that you write? Like,
When
what
I
kind
was
of
when I was a kid, man, like 10, 11 years old, my dad basically. This is like I feel like everybody asks me this question, so this is like how I feel like this is how like you know what I'm saying came together into one sound. You know what I'm saying? This is how I found my sound. This is how I feel like I did. When I was 10 years old, dude, like my dad, I was on a tour bus at 4 years old. So I grew up listening to my dad singing to a quartet, and then my dad moved to a rock and roll band when I was like 10 or 11. So and I was just like, Dad, give me a song one day, and then he stuck me in a room with speakers and a computer, man. He put on "Dream On" by Aerosmith, and I swear to you, I probably listened to that song for like hundreds of times for like a week straight, man. And I would just like get all the note, and I was always obsessed with that. Yeah, man, that raspy, you know what I'm saying? Just, it sounds like you smoked a pack of cigarettes and down a bottle of whiskey. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how it felt. And I was obsessed with that roughness and that rawness in rock and roll music. And then as I got older, I eventually fell into like the sound of Motown. That's when you got that oh, and all all them runs and the soulfulness. And I was a big fan of Marvin Gaye. But I feel like over the years, just listening to the old classics like that, and then as I got older, I started listening to a lot of Sam Smith, John Legend, Ed Sheeran, and now I'm a big fan of Louis Capaldi, The Weeknd. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of like I don't know, it's like a gumbo, man. I just like kind of got all the sounds from from the like all my favorite bands, and I just try to make it into one. I guess I don't know. That's a tough question though. Like how I found my sound.
But the fact that you learn to use your voice, like I feel like the hardest part with the way that you sing is being able to control your voice, especially when you're having these raw emotions. And right now, these examples you kind of give me of like Motown and stuff, like you just emoted that just naturally. So how did you learn to control the voice the way that you do?
I guess it's $1 million question. I don't completely know, bro. Like I've never had vocal lessons. I just grew
That's
up around
insane.
my dad, man. I give a lot of props to my father, man. Like staying on the tour bus, I was in the back when they were in quartets, and I learned each part. You know what I'm saying? How they, like just I can. That's just the question I can't answer. I don't know exactly how I control it. You know what I'm saying? I just sing, bro. Like I feel it, and I feel like if enough's enough, I'll back off. If it's not enough, I'll definitely get on it. You know what I'm saying?
So the single that you just dropped is your first for the year, but it's also your first of a debut project in the works. So what is the progress on this? Where are you at as far as this project?
We're getting along in it. We're not too far off. I mean, I definitely catalog at the ass, man. I have a lot of songs recorded, so I don't think it's a problem of necessarily getting an album together. Definitely have enough for an album. It's just you never want to settle on something. You know what I'm saying? You always want to get the best you can. When we finally feel like we've had that, that's what we'll call an album. We definitely have enough for one. So I think we're halfway through though. I feel like we got enough for half of the album right now. So
As far as like your team goes with production, do you have a specific producer that you like to collaborate with, or are you still testing the waters with a lot of different producers? Like, what is that like for you?
um, I would say for the over the past year, like last year in 2020, I worked a lot with Lil Ronnie. His name's Lil Ronnie. Who's Morel from ADG.
Mm.
I worked with people out in Big Loud that I was a really, really big fan of out in Nashville. And I started working with this other guy. His name's Kenny Bartow. So, I mean, I got a little set of producers I've been working with, and it's been going good, man. I'm comfortable with my teams. You know what I'm saying? The people I make music with, if I feel like I feel comfortable with them, it makes. I don't even consider this work, man. I'm blessed to call this a job, so it just makes singing fun, man. The creative process.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, you're comfortable with your team. Your last year you got to release a collaboration with Lindsey Stirling. I feel like collaborations are not for every artist. Some artists are uncomfortable about it just because it's not the same vibe, not the same feel. How did that collaboration come about, and how did you feel you and Lindsey collaborated throughout this process?
It came about. So I'm my manager is Greg Thompson, and he got in touch with the team. I don't remember if he worked with them before or something like that, but I think he might have known the team or something like that. And they started sparking ideas around, and paperwork, got right and all that. And when I met when I heard that I was gonna be on a song with Lindsey Stirling, it's pretty big, violinist, it's big time, that was one of my first big collaborations, powerful and like amazing artist. And it was a no brainer, you know. It was amazing to get that opportunity.
Yeah, that's cool. I loved how it came out. So congratulations with that. Now, lastly, to close us off, you mentioned that your new single, "Where Was Your Love," is it was like a easy kind of process for you. But what kind of challenges did you find yourself facing throughout either the writing or the recording process of the track?
I mean, definitely the vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? So like, I have a love hate relationship with it because you never want too much of your personal life coming out to the audience. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing I had with "No Saving Me." If you actually listen to the lyrics, man, there's a lot of deep meaning in those lyrics. And that's the same thing with "Where Was Your Love?" And just the whole time making the song, when I was just asking myself, was I ready to release another song like that? It's like the wormhole just keeps getting deeper and deeper. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's going to know me. Um, no, man, the recording process, it was easy. Everybody made it easy. You know, it was a very laid back environment. The people I was working with were absolutely phenomenal. Big Loud's got some amazing writers, amazing producers. I can't wait to go back. But recording was easy. I think it might have been the fastest song I've ever seen come together. To be honest with you, I think the biggest challenge to me was definitely topping off No Saving Me, because No Saving Me is one of my biggest. So I was really worried there, you know, like another big mid tempo ballad, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying, coming out at the same time. It's working out great, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure to take on.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, dude, congratulations with the new single. Definitely looking forward to more music from you. And thank you again for taking the time to talk to me.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.